Hello and welcome back. This is Steve at Bucks Coins. I've got a pre-decimal coin hunt for you now. I picked a handful of coins from my pre-decimal set of coins, and this is the first one. Let's just come in a bit. There we go. Queen Elizabeth II, second portrait, and it is a 1967 half crown. The 1967 was the last year that's got a mintage on it. That was put into circulation. The sets that follow that, including up to 1970, were proof sets or year sets only. So that's a half crown. It's one we've all seen before. You've got the crown and the shield with the four quadrants, which is England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland. The second one is Elizabeth's father, George VI. You can see there's a size difference, so this one is going to be the florin, or the 2 shilling bit. It's 2 shillings. The date on it is 1948. The date is just here, 1948. And the florin shows the crown, the Tudor rose in the centre. At the bottom is the rose. Then either side you've got the thistle, and is that the clover? The thistle and the clover, and below the thistle is G, and below the clover is R for George Rex. We have here 2 shilling bits side by side. I think we've got a third one as well, which we'll bring in. So we've got the 3 of them. 2 of them are Elizabeth II, and the third one is her father. If we go in on the back, we've got 2 coins here with the flowers on of the different nations. So you've got the rose in the centre, and then around the outside you've got the thistles, the leek, the thistles, the clover and the leek around the outside. Around the outside of the inner circle you have the thistle, the leek and the clover leaf. In the middle circle you have the English Tudor rose. Her father's one, which is dated 1948, whereas hers are 56 and 57. Again you have the floral symbols. You have a rose in the centre, and you have a thistle and a clover. Then underneath the thistle and clover, as I said with the last coin, you have the G and the R. So those are the differences side by side. I'll give you a few seconds to take a look at those. At this point, if you do have any questions, please put them down in the comments. Also, if you've got a second, can you give me a like and subscribe as well if you haven't already done so. Here we have 2 coins the same. It has a portcullis, and it's a castellated or multi-sided threepenny bit. The one that shows the castle side is dated 1953. So this is a year after the Queen ascended the throne, and this one here is 1960. The portcullis design is used as a symbol for the Houses of Parliament. It was also a symbol of Henry VII's mother on her coat of arms, so it's a symbol that's been used for a very long period of time. These, of course, these castellated bronze 3Ps or brass 3Ps superseded the silver threepenny bit that went out of circulation during her father's reign. The silver threepenny bit, of course, still exists with the Maunday sets. This one is a shilling coin, or 12 pennies. This one is Elizabethan and it is from 1961, and this is the English version of the shilling. You have a crown and then you have a shield with three lions rampant. The 3 lions rampant is what is used to symbolise England. Of course, it's on the England football shirt, for those of you who've seen it, and of course was made famous by Baddiel and Skinner with their 3 lions on a shirt. Football's coming home. Well, it came home, but we never actually won it. Did we? Never mind. We lost to our friendly foes, the Germans. Yeah. We have now 4 copies of the same coin. $55, $67, $62, and $67 again. Of course, I'm talking about Christopher's favourite coin, the 6penny bit, or a tanner. If you know the colloquialisms of the PreDecimal coins, the old tanner. The shilling was known as a bob. The 2 shilling was known as 2 bob or a florin. 2 6 was either 2 and 6 or half a crown. These ones here have the floral items of the nations. It's got the Tudor Rose for England, the leek for Wales, the thistle for Scotland, and the clover for Ireland. And it's the same on the back of all 4 of these coins. These are side by side views, so you can see both the front and the rear of the coin. We got George V here and George VI here. Now, they followed each other onto the throne, but usually monarchs go face left, the one monarch does, and then the next monarch faces right. However, he died in 1936 and he came to the throne in 1936, but they're both facing the same way. There is a reason why. In this area just between the two, King George V died in 1936, in the early part of 1936, and his eldest son, David, was named as King of England, although he never actually came to the throne. I said his son David. His son's name actually was David, but he was better known as Edward, and he became Edward VIII on his father George V's death. However, he never came to the throne of England. He abdicated to be able to marry the love of his life, Wallis Simpson, who was an American divorcee, which caused all sorts of scandals at the time. So his second son, his junior son, his second son was George, and became George VI. So although they're both facing the same way, and they succeeded, George VI succeeded his father George V, there was somebody that was in between, but was never actually enthroned and made the king by going through the coronation. He was named as king and successor to his father, but never actually went through the ceremony of the enthronement. Now, when George VI came to the throne, the farthing started using on the back the famous wren. However, his father, George V, still used the old Britannia on the farthing coin. The George V farthing is dated I think it might be 1917, and this one here is 1942. So when his father took over, or shortly after his father took over in 1936, by the 1940s they started using the wren on the back of the farthing coin instead of Britannia. Okay. The last coins that we've got for this particular thing is all to do with the pennies. We've got a 1937 penny of George VI. We have a 1913 coin of George V. We have an Edward VIII coin of 1903. We have another George V coin of 1913. And we have a George V coin of 1916. Let me just go out a little bit. They all have Britannia on the back, and as you can see, what we've got here is Edward VIII followed by his son George V, and can you see their heads are in the opposite direction, are facing in the opposite direction. This is a normal way that it would secure between the person who died and the successor, his successor. They would face the opposite direction with the portrait. Queen Victoria's portrait has her facing to the left as well, who was of course the mother of Edward VIII, Edward VII, sorry. George V, George VI, and that's George V again. So, 5 pennies. 2 of them facing the opposite direction, and then the following 2 monarchs, when they're handed on, faced in the same direction. Lastly, we have a half penny. It is a George V penny. There you go, George V. And it is dating from 1919, which is the year after the First World War ended. As I said before, if you've liked this, please give me the thumbs up. It doesn't take a second to click the like button, and it helps the channel out tremendously. Also, if you're here and you haven't as yet subscribed, please think about doing so. I would love to have you along for the rest of my journey through coins and banknotes, etc, etc. In the meantime, having finished the hunt, all I would say is if you're having a hunt, I hope you have a successful one and you find the coins you're looking for. If you are if you're buying coins, I hope you can find the coins you want for the amount of money you want to pay. Until we meet up again on this channel, which I hope will be not too far into the future, bye bye for me. Ta-ra now. Bye bye.